we felt that the sufficient conditions to solve the Oracle problem, getting, just this idea of throughput, right? Throughput's really tough when you have a sequential chain, right, in terms of cost. And so this idea of getting like real-time validated information en masse, not just relegated perhaps to price feeds, but starting to get into all sorts of different, data feeding, right? Whether it's from the blockchain world, or whether it's from banking finance world, or whether it's from a flight company that's delivering us, whether we're getting data feeding from flight companies saying when the flights are getting in and out, and we're doing flight insurance. So that kind of throughput necessitates something like Polkadot. So the sufficient condition to solve the Oracle problem was not present, in our opinion, until recently. And that's what we're working on with that side of things. But that's not where our vision stops. We're much more invested. From our standpoint, we feel like the Oracle problem with Polkadot in the mix is kind of, for us, is like the low-hanging fruit. The grander vision is to drive a data marketplace and data analytics over time, to deliver something that we call data 3.0 or data economy 3.0, where it's more of this P2P situation between actors, rather than it's going through all this information on people. It's going through this funnel of like centralized companies like Google, Facebook, etc. That's more interesting to us, and that's sort of the long-term vision.
Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Hope you guys are all doing well today. In this video, I'm going to introduce you guys to another Polkadot ecosystem play. It's part of my ongoing initiative to introduce as many Polka plays as I can to you guys. This way you'll stay informed about all the opportunities that are available to you. In this video, I'm going to introduce Kylin Network. A lot of social media influencers out there are referring to this project as the Chainlink of the Polkadot ecosystem. And even though they are planning to administer Oracle related services, their primary focus is data on Web 3.0. So in that regard, they're kind of like a hybrid between Chainlink and Ocean Protocol. And after watching this video, if you're interested in watching more of my Polkadot project reviews, make sure you guys check out the description box below, because I consolidated all my Polkadot related videos into a playlist for you guys. And if you're interested in learning about these projects before I publish videos, and you wanted to get to know me a little bit better, make sure you guys check out my Twitter profile. The link is in the description below. With the intro out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into this video. Alright, to kickstart the video, let me introduce the project. Kylin Network is aiming to be the data infrastructure for DeFi and Web 3.0 on Polkadot. And given that the founder and the team believes in a multi-chain future, they wanted to deploy their project on the chain they believe would help usher in the multi-chain future. Today, the data that you have on the web has to go through centralized parties. Kylin hopes to decentralize everything. This way, nobody would have control over data analytics, and through tokenization, users could potentially own their data. And by empowering individuals to own their own data, you could create a marketplace on top of the new data infrastructure that Kylin Network is building. And I think a large part of the reason why a lot of people call this project the Chainlink of Polkadot is that they're building a data Oracle network first, but they overlook the fact that Polkadot has off-chain worker capability. And so they've already built in the infrastructure needed to get external data and bring it on chain. And so Kylin Network isn't planning to play an adversarial role. It actually wants to extend these capabilities and wants to work synergistically to increase off-chain worker capability, improve the quality of the data by enhancing the curation process, and also make the entire system more decentralized by deploying a robust network of Oracle nodes. Here's a pretty good representation of what the data query process would look like. The consumer would make a request. The Oracle programmer would basically run a script that would determine the framework for the output. The miner would then go ahead and aggregate the data from the data provider, which for example could be CoinMarketCap. Then the data would go through a curation process. Once it passes that process, it would then be returned to the consumer. And here are a few application scenarios for Kylin Network. You could use Kylin Network for decentralized insurance automatic payment. You could use it for stable coins and crypto derivatives, crypto assets lending platforms, and eventually you'll be able to use it for a blockchain computing market. And as I mentioned earlier, Kylin Network isn't competing with Polkadot's off-chain workers. It plans to extend and enhance the features that are already on Polkadot and work synergistically with other projects building within the Polkadot ecosystem. And aside from those theoretical partnerships or collaborations, Kylin Network is already planning strategic partnerships with the likes of Certic Partners, which provides premier security audit services for the DeFi industry. And just 13 hours ago, they announced a strategic partnership with Polka Markets, who plans to bring cross-chain prediction markets. Now, in terms of what to expect for the rest of the year, mainnet should launch around Q3, and soon after that, they'll start integrating testnet dApps. And currently, the platform token KYL is not available on the markets. They're going to have a public offering sometime this month. I don't have an exact date, but in the Telegram, their admin stated that they're aiming for end of February. Now let's go ahead and transition over to talking about the tokenomics. The platform's tokens ticker is KYL, and it's going to be used to secure and power the decentralized data network. And since mainnet isn't going live until Q3, it's very likely that KYL will initially be issued as an ERC20 asset. So if you're looking to buy it on the secondary market after the public sale, I suspect there's a very good chance that it's going to be listed on Uniswap. Some of the initial utility features will include staking to be a miner or arbiter. Also, it's going to be used to pay for transactions, query fees, and for data access behind a paywall. Lastly, like many other projects, they're going to aim for progressive decentralization. So in that spirit, token holders are going to be able to vote for protocol upgrades and parameter changes on the Kylin network. To begin with, there's going to be a total of 1 billion KYL tokens. And this is what the tentative distribution plan looks like. 18% of them are going to be dedicated for the sales, including the seed sale, private sale, and the public sale. And if you look here, a large portion of the tokens in the private sales are going to be unlocked to begin with. This means once there's a secondary market, there's a good chance that early investors that got in the seed round and the private sale round will be dumping on the secondary markets. Which makes sense because if you got in early, it's very likely that the token is going to trade at higher prices, assuming that we're in a bull market. By offloading a good portion of your tokens, you can at least get back the capital that you invested in the project and still have a long-term bag in case the project delivers. So just keep that in mind if you're participating in the public sale or you're buying the token once it's available on the secondary market. 15% are going to be used for the peer chain bond funding. And this is key because even though I think there's going to be a lot of projects within the Polkadot ecosystem that will be successful without having the need to buy a peer chain slot, I think the core protocols and the protocols that will get the most attention are going to be the ones that end up getting a slot. And in my mind, what increases the probability of Kylin becoming a peer chain on Polkadot is the fact that they're getting a grant from the Web3 Foundation. And for those of you guys who may not know, Web3 Foundation was founded by the same people who founded Polkadot, which means that as long as Kylin Network delivers on its promises and doesn't deviate from the roadmap too much, the odds of them becoming a parachain on Polkadot are very strong. But in terms of my overall impression of the tokenomics, this is nothing unique. We've seen a lot of this before. It's like a template that many projects use. The token confers the users with various rights. For example, on-chain governance is pretty popular, and also the token is the main medium of exchange within the network. So in theory, as long as the token gets adopted, people are using it, the demand and therefore the price will be strongly correlated with the adoption of the network. Now to end the video, I'm going to give you guys my overall impression of the protocol. The prevailing narrative that I see from a lot of social media influencers out there is that Kylin is going to be the Chainlink of the Polkadot ecosystem. That narrative is going to be very powerful, especially to retail investors just getting into the crypto game. If they see Chainlink trading at $30 plus and Kylin comes out trading at less than $1, they'll be more susceptible to the narrative because they'll view it as their chance to make up for a lost opportunity. Because in their minds, Chainlink has gone up so much, they'd rather buy an asset that has higher return potential. And what I think is going to amplify the narrative is the fact that Polkadot ecosystem plays are very hot at the moment, because even investors who are early in crypto that maybe didn't get involved in DeFi, they see the Polkadot ecosystem and the projects that are building there as an opportunity to get in on projects very early. But in terms of competitors, sure, Chainlink could port over to the Polkadot blockchain, but I don't think they're going to be able to displace Kylin, because Kylin Network plans to intertwine itself with the infrastructure already laid out by the Polkadot blockchain. I think when mainnet launches for the Kylin Network, they'll be so deeply integrated with Substrate's off-chain workers that in most cases when people are retrieving data, they'll end up using both off-chain workers and the Kylin Network without even knowing. In other words, Substrate and Kylin Network will become the default method for collecting data. I'm sure Chainlink, once it's deployed on Polkadot, will take up some of the market share, but at the end of the day, I think most of these projects and protocols will end up using multiple oracles rather than just relying on one oracle network. At the end of the video, I just wanted to say that at this point, it's pretty obvious that we're in a bull market. If you need help keeping up with all the projects out there, aside from subscribing to my YouTube channel and following me on Twitter, make sure you guys go ahead and check out my Discord channel as well. I got a really good group of guys in my Discord channel. It never gets toxic and people are always looking to help each other out. So if that sounds like a community you want to be a part of, just make sure to check out the Discord link in the description below. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is CryptoOneStop signing out. I'll talk to you folks next time. Bye.